Welcome to Life and Living. Welcome to Children's Special Sunday. And welcome to Children and the Burden of Obedience. In 1 Samuel chapter 2, we came across a man called Eli. Eli was the priest of God in the Lord's temple at Jerusalem. The Bible says that Eli, even though he didn't come from the high priestly family, God bestowed that special grace in appointing Eli as a high priest. And well, we were told Eli was doing well. But in verse 12 of chapter 2 of Samuel, we were told that the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. In other words, they were not living a priestly lifestyle. The Bible describes them as men who were after strange appetites. They went after the women who came into the temple to serve the Lord. They put their hands on the special sacrifices that was meant for God alone. And God didn't keep quiet. God sent a prophet. He said, "Go tell Eli he's enjoyed special favor by being put into the priest office because he did not come from the right family." But God said, "I will always esteem them that will esteem me." But Eli had favored his sons above God. So God said, "I'm angry, and I'm getting Eli out of the office." Well, the rest is history. On a certain day, we were told Eli and the two sons, they died in battle. That's a heritage lost. The next man on the line was the boy Samuel. If you remember, Samuel came into the service of the Lord quite early. And we were told that Samuel grew in the house of the Lord and before the Lord. The Bible records of Samuel as a very good man in his testimony before Israel. Samuel declared, "I've robbed no man. I've taken advantage of no man. I've defrauded no man." And the whole of Israel were in agreement. But in 1 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 1, the Bible said the sons of Samuel were not living a lifestyle like their father. The two sons of Samuel, they were overtaken by lucre. They took bribes from the people and perverted judgment. And that's why now Israel came before Samuel and said, "Give us a king, because, well, your children are not following in your footsteps." That's another heritage lost. Well, obedience leads to life, and disobedience will always lead to death. In the book of Jeremiah chapter 35, we came across a certain group of people called the Rechabites. The Rechabites were descendants of Jonadab, and God was trying to prove a lesson to Israel, so he asked the prophet Jeremiah, "Now go to the house of the Rechabites and invite all of them into the temple. Jeremiah did just that and brought the Rechabites into the temple. And God said, now set pots of wine before the Rechabites and give them cups and ask them to drink wine. The prophet did as God commanded. Set pots of wine before the Rechabites, provided cups, and asked them to drink wine. But the Rechabites said, no, we will drink no wine, because God told our father Jonadab that we must not drink wine, so we can live long on the face of the earth. Obedience, again, leading to life. You see, that's why God appointed a law in Israel in Psalms 78 and verses 5 to 7. He commanded that the fathers must teach the children the fear of God, so they would put their hope in God and not forget His works. Every time the children come in obedience, they enjoy the blessings of God. Every time they choose to go in disobedience, they suffer curses and punishment from God. You see, that's why in Deuteronomy 28, God put it clear and simple before the whole of Israel. God told them, if you will obey my instructions, my covenants, you'll be a special people unto me, and I'm going to raise you above all other nations of the earth. And then God listed a number of blessings that will be theirs if they will walk in obedience. And He quickly followed that up by letting them see the other side of the coin, the curses that follow disobedience. Well, I'm throwing this challenge again to all children and to all parents. We have a responsibility of putting God before our children. Children, we have a responsibility of obeying the words of the Father coming from God. Well, I pray God will bless us on this special Sunday, and for every parent and every child, that we might all wind up in the blessedness that God has promised through obedience.